I'm Jennifer Della Quadri, and this is Subtle Shifts, the podcast where you'll learn how to transform your life from the inside out, one small, meaningful shift at a time. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the podcast. I have been thinking a lot lately about how we in midlife so often forget how to have fun. This is something I realized probably around the time I hit 40 and I started doing a lot of internal work and working with a coach and just learning a lot about myself, is that as an overachiever and as a mother, that I wasn't really having a lot of fun in my life. I mean, I would have fun, meaning like playing with my kids or watching them do things, but there wasn't a lot of time set aside for just doing something that I enjoyed, and it was just for me. And this is something that happens with a lot of my clients. These are conversations that I've been having with the women that I work with, and something that we all tend to struggle with. And we've talked a lot on this podcast about how, as women, our natural desire is to nurture and to give and to care. That's part of it. But it also has a lot to do with just being an adult in general. I don't think this is necessarily just something women struggle with. It's something that many adults struggle with, to the point that some of us don't even realize that we don't have time for play. Like, we don't even realize that we're missing play in our lives. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. So I am going to be talking about why it's so hard for us to have fun in our lives as adults. I'm also going to share with you why it's so important. And I'm also going to share with you one of my very favorite tools for bringing more fun into your life. It's something I did last year, and I think everyone should do it because it is such an eye-opening experience. I'm going to share that with you. And then I'm also going to be telling you about a special program that I'm running right now, and it's specifically created to help you have an incredible and fun summer on your terms. So let me just start by acknowledging why it can be so hard to have fun in life, especially as we are in midlife. So at this point in life, we have a lot of responsibilities. We have a job, or we are a parent, or we are taking care of our aging parents, or we're a caretaker for someone. We're always giving. And when you have so many responsibilities, when you think about having fun, there can be some guilt that comes up. Like, I don't have time for that. And if I'm doing something for myself like that, if I'm having fun, it's at the cost of someone else's life. So because I'm having fun, I'm not making time for someone else. And then there's guilt that comes along with that. And maybe just a little bit of shame. Like, who am I to want this in my life? Like, I'm not a kid anymore. I'm supposed to be an adult, and having fun seems so frivolous. And on top of that, so many of us are already just so overwhelmed with life in general, just burnt out. We don't have a lot of time in our lives to do something that's just for us, which is why it's extra important to have fun in life. When you create time in your life to have fun, it gives your life more harmony and balance. So that when you're having fun, it fuels those times in your life when the responsibilities come up. It gives you the energy to be the person that you want to be for the people that you care about most. And just on top of it all, it adds to your overall life satisfaction. When you're feeling dissatisfied with life, it's likely because you're not bringing in anything that actually fills your cup. And when you do have fun, that's going to be a cup-filling exercise. It's going to be something that fuels you so that you can be more present in your life and just have more joy overall and in general. And it also can inspire the people around you to do the same. And that's where the energetics of it all comes in. So when you're having fun in your life, other people are inspired by that. And I'm speaking to my own experiences. When I started sharing some of the things that I was doing that I considered to be fun, and also talking about the point that I was really intentionally bringing more fun into my life. I would share it with people just in person in my life, and I also shared it on social media. I was getting feedback from people like, I'm so inspired by this. I really want to do this in my life as well. And that's the point, right? It's for you, but what ends up happening is it starts to affect other people around you in a positive way. So it really does improve your quality of life, and it can enhance all of those other experiences that you have, mitigating the burnout and the overwhelm and the anxiety that can come with that, feeling that you have to constantly be producing or being or achieving, and all of those really high stress experiences that we put on ourselves. So how can you bring more fun into your life? Well, I'm going to share with you a couple of questions to just kind of sit with. You maybe want to get a journal and write it down, because self-reflection is really a big part of it. So many times when I talk with my clients and I just ask them like, well, what's fun for you? They don't even have an answer. They don't even know, because they don't even have time to even consider fun. They constantly feel like they have to be doing something. So here are some questions. The first is, what did you enjoy doing when you were young, when you were little? Ideally before the age of 10, because around, fourth or fifth grade, we start to care a lot more about what other people are doing. And so there's a little less freedom with it, a little more fear of judgment. So when you were young, how did you spend your time and what was fun for you? And what was play like for you at that time? How did you play? So for me, I love to play with Barbies. I love to play on the playground. I love to be on the bars at school. I love to create storylines for characters in my dolls, right? Like I would sit around and make a family environment and talk about like some kind of story that would happen. I love to listen to music, right? So just make a list of the things that you liked to do when you were little, where you lost track of time, where you didn't really think about what was going on. You were just totally immersed in it. And how did you spend your time when you had that time? So when you were young, we didn't have phones. And of course we had TV and we had cable TV, but we didn't have it at our fingertips every moment of the day. So when you had that open space of time where you're just like, well, I have nothing to do. What'd you do? Where'd you go? Did you want to be with people? Did you prefer to be by yourself? How did you spend that time? And what did you look forward to doing when you were young and you were, had something happening when you got so excited? I can't wait for this to happen. What did you look forward to doing? And when did you feel calm and at peace? So this is all for when you were younger. So start with that and then fast forward to where you are now. What's fun for you now? When do you lose track of time now? And when do you feel most like yourself? This may take a little bit longer, because in the moment you may not even realize what's fun for you because you're so busy putting out fires in your life. You're so busy reaching for that next goal. What's fun for you now? This is something I'm working on with one of my clients right now who's really wanting to create more balance in their life, and they are wanting to bring in things that are just for them, because at the end of the day, we're all going to be retiring at some point, fingers crossed. You don't want to go from like, I'm constantly working and I never have any time for me, to constantly, now I only have time for myself. That's a total shock to the system. So you can make subtle shifts and start bringing things into your life that feel fun. So that may mean going back to old hobbies or picking up some new ones. So just know that what you did as a kid isn't necessarily going to be what you're going to want to do now, but what you're looking for is overlap. Things that were fun for you then and things that are fun for you now, and either picking up things that maybe you have lost touch with since life got hectic, since you had kids, since you got busy with life, picking those up again and really just intentionally making time for that, or exploring new things. One of my clients has a little bit more time in her schedule, and she just found herself scrolling her phone when she didn't know what to do. And she was just feeling really shitty. She was just like, why do I feel so depressed? And of course, we looked at her screen time and it was like, oh, it's because I'm just kind of scrolling my life away right now. And so instead of just being unintentional with her time, she decided to take a watercolor class at the local community college. And she's really hopeful about that. She's never really done watercolor before. She's never really been a crafty person, but she's like, I'm going to try something new. And this is something I did too. I started taking ballroom dancing classes just by myself. Never been a dancer. I was a cheerleader, but I heard that and I'm like, you know what? It's close and it's something to get me out of the house. This was a few years back, but it's something that I have since stopped doing. But it was fun for me and it was kind of just exploratory. So just start to get curious about what you could bring into your life that might be fun for you. And who knows, it could turn into something that you continue doing down the road. Who knows where it could go. But the idea isn't to have there be a goal that anything specific comes from it, except for the fact that you want to bring more fun into your life. That is the intention. So what you're looking for here again is when you write down the things that were fun for you as a kid and the things that are fun for you now, is you're looking for general themes from the two. What are you interested in trying? And also, what are you open to trying? I also have a client who her kids were teenagers and she had 3 kids, or she has 3 kids. And so her life was really hectic taking care of them for a really long time. But once they started getting older and being able to drive themselves, she found that she had so much more time on her hands. And she's not somebody to just sit around and do nothing, but she also just didn't know what to do. She didn't have a job outside of the home. And she also had that need to feel to be nurturing someone or something. And so what she does is she started a nonprofit organization. And what she started was something where she would fill backpacks for people, for kids in foster care. So she did fundraising and she would fill backpacks. At one point last year, she filled over 150 backpacks. So she was putting all of that creativity, that need to nurture, and the time and energy into something that fueled her, but also helped other people. And it really did give her a spark for life that she was missing before then. And on top of that, she enlisted the help of her kids. So she was able to connect with them through that as well. And it was a really great experience for them just to be able to volunteer. And so often we get stuck in the idea that we're just limited to what we've done before, but the door here is just wide open, which can also feel really overwhelming. And that is worth acknowledging as well. And that's where I'm going to share with you one of my very favorite tools for bringing more fun into your life. I call it a live list. And here's how it works. What you do is you're creating a list of 100 things you'd like to experience in the coming year. And it's best to do when you have time to really focus on the experience and start, with a meditation or light a candle or set an intention. But really, spring is when I'm recording this. It's a great time to do it because that's when we're going to be outside more often. We're usually busier and on the go a little bit more. And it's kind of gives you the idea of possibility of what can be done and the options that are available for you. So what you're going to do, again, find a spot, sit down, do it at a time where you're feeling pretty positive or good, maybe after some exercise, and then you just start writing. And you list out 100 things that you want to experience. And the point here is not to write just big things that are fun for you. Some of them on a scale of fun to 10, I just made that up. On a scale of fun to 10, it's like it could be something that's not really fun at all, but at least it's not draining, all the way to something to be like, oh my gosh, like a roller coaster ride. If you like roller coaster rides. If you don't, then obviously that wouldn't count. But you're writing all things. You can literally write anything that you could think could happen in the next year. So anything from sleep in my bed, which is nice, to flying on a private jet. But you just write whatever comes to your brain. And you're not going to let your brain tell you that something is either too big or too small, which is why the list itself is 100, not 10. Because when we get to 10, we have to start limiting ourselves. But when 100, it's very expansive and open. And if you're like me, what's going to end up happening is when you're writing this list, you're going to run out of ideas at some point. So that's when you have to start dreaming or reaching or getting just super realistic and basic and letting it be the fun in the small things. And the idea here is you're letting it be fun, you're letting it be expansive and hopeful. And then once you have your 100 things written down, you're going to categorize all of the things onto your list into 3 categories. They are, you're going to number them 1, 2, 3. So for number 1, it's things that are realistic, like you're certain it's going to happen within this next year. Like sleeping in my bed would be 1. It's realistic. And number 2 is something that's definitely possible. It could happen, but it might take some work. It might be a push. Then number 3 is like, oh my gosh, this would blow my mind if this happened. You're not attached to it. There's no pressure to make it happen, but it would blow your mind. So you're just going to categorize all 3. And then you just let it go. You sit back and you live your life. And then from time to time, you're going to revisit the list and start crossing things off. And that also is great for a dopamine hit. It's like, ooh, look at what I've accomplished. Look what I've done. And like I mentioned, spring is a really good time to do this. So as you cross them off, what you're going to realize is that some things like you're going to have to plan for. Like if there's something you want to do, you may be like, okay, I want to make sure this happens, and you schedule it, like going to an activity or doing something specific. But there's also going to be things that happen that are on your list that you didn't expect to happen. Like for me, one thing I had on my list was to hold a baby. I'm in a phase of my life where none of my friends have babies. There's just not a lot of babies around in my life, unfortunately. But I was at a birthday party for my niece, and there was a baby there. And guess what? I got to hold the baby. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is on my list. And then another thing on my list was to dive into a swimming pool. That was something I had on my list, but I don't have a pool. I don't know anyone who has a pool, especially with a diving board. I was like, well, that'd be super fun. I'd love to be able to do that, but I don't know if it's going to happen. And then lo and behold, my daughter was going to be going over to a friend's house, and not even her house. It was her friend's house who happened to have a pool with a diving board. And she told me this, and I was like, oh, a diving board, that's on my list. And she invited me to come, and I got to dive into the pool and check it off my list. And it was fun. So there's the live list. That is what I recommend you do. It's super fun, it's super easy, and it's something you can just check back on for like an entire year. And then you can keep on doing it year after year. You can put the same stuff on the list, you can put new stuff on the list, and your life's going to change. So maybe there's going to be more possibility. And you never know. One of those number 3 things could happen. And what a surprise it would be if it did. You're just being open to the possibility. Speaking of which, I mentioned at the beginning of this episode that I would be sharing a special program that's designed to help you have a fun summer on your terms. So I want you to remember back when you were a kid, around this time of year. So as I'm recording this, it's the beginning of May, and school was kind of winding down and summer was on the horizon. And there was just kind of like this electric excitement in the air because you knew that pretty soon you would be free. You would have this expansive summer break where you could just kind of do whatever you wanted for a change. But then as we got older, that feeling fades because obviously our responsibilities extend beyond a school year. Even if you're a teacher, if you are a parent or a caretaker, or you have other things in your life, you've got stuff to take care of. You've got a house, you've got a mortgage, you've got all these checklist things that you need to do. And even when it comes to like having a vacation, for example, there's a lot of work involved because you got to plan for your departure. You've got to plan for being away. Somebody has to take care of the house. You have to clean the house before you leave. Like, it's a lot of work. And even when you're on vacation, you're likely doing a lot of work there, making sure that there's food and meals and everybody has what they need. It's maybe not even relaxing when you are on vacation because you're taking care of everyone else's needs. And you don't even get a chance to relax. And so, of course, that excitement of summer can fade. And maybe it's just completely gone. Or maybe it's even harder because you work and your kids are home from school, and that makes life more hectic. You come home from work and the house is a mess because the kids have been there all day, leaving their stuff all over the place. Or you have to find childcare. Or you have to pile on a vacation in the middle of a busy season at work. All of those responsibilities can get in the way of the excitement, which is why I created the Summer of You, a 6-week journey to joy. I created this program after realizing what I was just talking about, how much I missed that carefree excitement of summer that we all felt as a kid. And I knew it was time to bring that feeling back, especially in midlife. It's a perfect time to do that. Not just for myself, but also for women like you who know what it feels like to just feel overwhelmed and not really enjoy the summer. So what I want you to do is think of it as a summer reset. So it's not just about summer, it's a chance for you to learn how to say goodbye to living in survival mode and really embrace a life you love, waking up every day. And really, this is the best investment you could make for yourself and for the people that you love, because in 6 weeks, I'm going to help you reclaim your joy. So you're going to be saying goodbye to burnout, overwhelm, and you're going to really rediscover what makes you happy and the excitement you've been missing. Together, we're going to create a 6-week freedom plan. So you're going to learn how these small intentional actions over 6 weeks will shift your mindset and bring back your enthusiasm each day. And what we're doing here is we're creating lasting change. So no more just letting life pass you by. What we're going to do here is help you stay committed so that the joy you find in this 6 weeks doesn't fade after just a few weeks. So this is lasting change. We'll help you reignite your passion, whether it's setting boundaries, finding more time for yourself, or just rediscovering your zest for life. This Summer of You program is going to help you make it happen. We're going to help you break free of these old patterns and limiting beliefs that are keeping you from enjoying the life that you were meant to live. One of purpose, freedom, and joy. Space is going to be limited in this program because I am a firm believer of practicing what I preach. I am not able to overschedule myself because I want balance in my life as well. So I only have a few spots available for this special program, and I would love to have you be in it. So what you're going to do is you're going to click the link in the show notes to schedule a free consultation. I'll share more about this program, and together we'll determine if it is a good next step for you. So let's work together to make this summer your best yet. I look forward to talking with you on the call. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me. If you're ready to take the next step in transforming your life, be sure to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. And if something resonated with you today, I'd love to hear about it. Share your thoughts, tag me on social media, or leave a review to help others find the podcast. Remember, the smallest shifts can create the biggest transformations. I look forward to hearing from you.